tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you're tuning in from this evening. Welcome, one and all, to another episode of Sabrina Speaks, Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. It is, yes, another episode that's open mic, and we continue with the summer edition. Yeah, where we can change gears just like that, just like the eclipse. Oh, yeah. I wonder if you were taking it in wherever you were from, if you were actually in the 100%, blackout, whatever. We got it for you. We got some beautiful pictures to share with you this evening. But yes, as we continue and bring you another hopeful, informative, fun, as we celebrate some key people from the Sabrina Speaks family, near and far, yes, but it is always open mic here in this summer edition, and that's not possible without the kind sponsorship, of course, Bridgepoint Immigration Consulting. Yes, they're seeing their clients by appointment only because professionalism and privacy is of utmost importance. So give them a call and book your consult today. That's 938-1337. Or you can send them an email to book your consult. If you need navigating, the understanding how these things are changing, pretty much like the speed of light, well, no longer stress out. Just drop them an email, bridgepoint.imm@gmail.com, or send them a WhatsApp to confirm and secure your appointment today on 938-1337. Yes, they are those professional guidance and the bridge that helps you move confidently into your next chapter. That's Bridgepoint Immigration Consulting. Thank them for their sponsorship. Yes, we're in for another treat today. And of course, because it is that summer season, we do things a little differently here, and we're keeping the mics open, even though it could change from multiple conversations. You're the one who's directing it. But please do remember, those phone lines are open, will be open all during this episode and for the entire time. Yeah, that's how we do it. But please remember that the views expressed by callers, guests, and online commenters are their own and not those of Bridge Media Limited, its affiliates, or the Sabrina Speaks show, or the host. This program is for general information only and not a substitute for legal, medical, professional, or financial advice. All participants are reminded to speak responsibly and respectfully. Any content that is defamatory, discriminatory, unlawful, or harmful is strictly prohibited and will not be endorsed or tolerated. Wherever, whatever, however it is you're getting us live on right now, listener, viewer participation implies acceptance to this disclaimer. Well, like I said, in case you missed it in the first round, this number to call in live or send us a WhatsApp, we keep you anonymous, is 345-936-8255 as we continue to build our community here, one episode at a time. I'm seeing we had so much traffic today. We definitely got some stars that we were posting here today because the traffic on the Sabrina Turner Community Activist page has been going crazy, and it would not be possible without all of you. And I want to thank you for all of the new followers and subscribers. Continue. We appreciate you. Continue to like, follow, share this page with your friends. So you know what? You're front of the line for always being notified, and you'll never miss an episode. I'm so happy for all of my new followings and for those who continuously come back here for every episode, whether you catch me midstream or some people binge. Yeah, it all depends on the topic though, because sometimes we can change trajectory, especially in the summer edition. So don't be fooled by the flyer. You just got to listen, or you just got to try to carve out some time and join us live, because at this space, trust me, anything can happen. Look at my friend Iva. What are you up to? See, I had a little bit of Milo this morning. Oh, yeah. I shared what I was munching down this morning for breakfast. Very Caymanian, very Caribbean, and it's amazing the feedback that I got back. But more on that coming up later on in this episode, because I love that segment, and so do so many of you. You like when we just make fun of each other and just have a little laughter and fun here on the Sabrina Speak show. And it's just amazing. But I thought it was good for me to give you guys a sneak peek because it was that good. Call it Yellow Heart. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah, I had it this morning. I ain't got no shame in my game. But you know what? Before we get more into my business and you sharing yours with me, let's see what's going on with the weather forecast. And that's compliments of our friends over there at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service, so that you can plan your evening, you can plan your night, you can plan tomorrow, maybe into the weekend. Yes, because time is definitely flying by. Let's take a look at this evening's forecast and into tomorrow as well. Compliments of the Cayman Islands National Weather Service, the synopsis is calling for partly cloudy skies with a slight chance of showers over the next 24 hours as drier air associated with a plume of Saharan dust drifts over the Cayman Islands. Further east, a tropical wave just east of Jamaica is expected to approach the Cayman area by Thursday afternoon, increasing the chance of showers. Now, moderate winds and seas are forecast through that period. Looking at the forecast into tonight, is calling for partly cloudy skies with haze and a 30% chance of overnight showers with possible thunder. Temperatures will fall near the low to mid 80s. Winds will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Tomorrow's forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies with slight haze and a 40% chance of showers in the afternoon with possible thunder. Temperatures will rise near the low to mid 90s with a heat index yet again of 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. There will be a high tide this evening at 9:36, a low tide at 3:54 in the morning, and another high is expected at 9:50 a.m. tomorrow. Sun will set, and what spectacular sunsets we've been having, at 6:54 this evening, and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 6:06 a.m. Now, the outlook is calling for a decrease in chance of showers from Friday as the tropical wave moves west of the Cayman area. Now, there you have it. That's our forecast for this evening and into tomorrow. And just a glimpse of, if you were hoping for rain, doesn't seem like there's much in the forecast. Yeah, there you have it. Thank our friends over there from the National Weather Service. We see the image, the radar imagery doesn't have very much clouds at all or anything that's hinting some serious rain, which we so badly need, like so many other places. But we're giving thanks nevertheless to be living in the beautiful Cayman Islands, and I will say the best place in the whole wide world. For all of you in the UK, we're not gonna be hating. You may be on vacation, you may be on that cruise, I don't know. Wherever you are, wherever, whatever it is you're doing, we want to thank you for joining us here on the Sabrina Speaks podcast that is being broadcast beautiful Cayman Islands Monday to Friday from 5 until 7 right here on the CMRTV.com platform. Now let's take a look at what's making our news headlines for this evening. And yes, I'm going to share exactly some of what I had this morning. I'm seeing you all in your comments, and we'll get to you as well, as we'd like to definitely engage with all of you. Keep those loves, hugs, and kisses coming in. We will definitely be sharing this information with all of our persons who are celebrating birthdays in a second here. But yeah, thank you. Keep them coming in. We would love to share them. And I know they're looking forward to hearing from you. Let's take a look at the local headlines making the Sabrina Speaks podcast for this evening. Yes. Now, the Cayman Islands, is marking International Youth Day by celebrating the ideas, creativity, and determination of young people across the community. Official says more youth are using technology, social media, and online platforms to share their perspectives and engage in national issues. Now, earlier this afternoon, the Youth Services Unit hosted an event at the Intergenerational Hub that brought children, teens, and families together for games, interactive activities, and a free game truck. Can you imagine that? Now, the celebration highlights how Cayman's our young leaders are bridging generations and helping shape the future of the islands. In other local news this evening, we see where Mexico and the Cayman Islands have formalized a new agreement on maritime search and rescue cooperation. Now, the Memorandum of Understanding was signed by Admiral Jose Manuel Salinas Perez of the Mexican Navy and Commander Robert Scotland of the Cayman Islands Coast Guard, creating a structured framework for coordination, information sharing, and joint operational planning. Now, official says that the partnership will strengthen both nations' ability to respond quickly and effectively to maritime emergencies, reinforcing their shared commitment to safeguarding lives at sea. CMR is reporting that Ricardo Hosea Taylor has been found guilty in Grand Cayman Court for multiple offenses involving a child following a 5-day trial. Now, the jury returned unanimous guilty verdicts on 3 of 5 counts, and Taylor has been remanded in custody pending sentencing. The court confirmed he is facing a lengthy term of imprisonment, and Justice Dale Palmer has offered a social inquiry report and a victim impact report ahead of sentencing, which is scheduled for September 25th. The Ministry of Tourism, Trade and Development has signed a year-long contract with GFA Consulting Group, valued at just over $96,000. In a Cayman News Service article, the Germany-based firm, working through its St. Lucia subsidiary, Prevail and Associates, will advise the local Advisory Trade Commission, chaired by the Chamber of Commerce President Will Panu. Now, the consultancy is expected to support ongoing work to access Cayman's trade landscape, strengthen supply chains, and identify opportunities to reduce import costs. Cayman Finance is inviting Caymanian University graduates, including those finishing their degrees in 2026, to apply for its graduates training program. Now, the initiative helps graduates transition into the workforce by connecting them with small and medium-sized member firms across the financial services sector. Applicants, however, with a bachelor's or master's degree in any field can gain professional experience, build industry connections, and develop key workplace skills. Now, the program begins in October of 2026, and the application deadline has been extended. Details, however, are available at caymanfinance.ky. Graduate. There you have it, and it's on your screen for more information. We'll definitely remind you of that as well. We'll keep bringing it up into our community services updates. Now let's take a look at what's happening in our regional news today. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley is urging the Massey Group to make contract buy-in a formal part of its supermarket operations, saying farmers need guaranteed markets and stronger financial stability if the country is going to expand its agricultural base. Now, she argues that long-term purchasing commitments would help local producers plan, invest, and grow. The call comes as the government continues pushing for greater food security and more support for domestic agriculture across the island. Google has announced Canao, the first sea-based cable system to link Bermuda directly with Dominican Republic, creating a new southbound digital pathway into the Caribbean. Now, the development follows recent landings of the Nuvum and Sol cable system and the expansion of Bermuda Digital Exchange Port. Officials says that these upgrades strengthen Bermuda's position as a trusted hub for global digital infrastructure. Now, the Minister of Home Affairs will now work with the regulatory authority and licensing and landing approvals for the new system. And also, out of Bermuda today, we see where senior officials held a joint press conference today addressing growing concerns around road safety. It's not just limited to Grand Cayman. With 13 lives lost on the island's roads this year, Tourism Minister Owen Darrell underscored the need for immediate action and long-term change. Now, government is strengthening coordination across transport, national security, the police service, and Road Safety Council, health, and public works, while advancing work on speed cameras and legislative options. Officials are urging the public to slow down, stay focused, and never drive or ride impaired. As we continue with regional and international news, we see the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt will step down at the end of the month. President Trump announced the move in a social media post, saying she is leaving the role to spend more time with her young children and family. Leavitt has been one of the most visible figures in the administration's communications team, regularly briefing reporters and representing the White House across national media. Officials have not yet announced who will take over the position. Now, crowds across Spain, the United Kingdom, and the town of Arcos de las Salinas today grew together to witness Europe's first total solar eclipse in 27 years. Now, skies briefly darkened as the moon completely covered the sun, creating a rare midday twilight and drawing thousands of spectators to viewing points across the region. Now, astronomers say that the event offered one of the most striking celestial displays Europe has seen in decades, with clear conditions allowing many to experience the full eclipse path. And as we look at that, and I'm hearing some of my viewers are taking it early tonight because they have a headache. Now, I'm wondering if they're one of those who's suffering from this, because look, following today's total solar eclipse, health officials are reminding the public to monitor any lingering eye discomfort. Now, many viewers across Europe are reporting headaches or soreness after briefly looking at the sun without proper protection. Now, experts say even short, unprotected exposure can cause temporary headaches, pains, or blurred vision, and anyone with persistent symptoms should seek medical attention. Now, although the eclipse has passed, doctors emphasize that only certified solar viewers can prevent eye injury during future celestial events. Now that winds down the news segment, but before going, we got to take you and let you know what the business markets closing are for today. Global markets close mixed today as investors weighed cooling U.S. inflations against rising geopolitical uncertainty. On Wall Street, the S&P 500 rose 0.31% and to 7,751. The Nasdaq gained 0.56% to 26,592, while the Dow finished nearly flat at 53,833. In Europe, major indices slipped, with the Euro Stoxx 50 down to 0.24% and the FTSE 100 off 0.10%. Now, Asian markets were mixed, led by South Korea's Kospi surging 3.68%, while Hong Kong's Hanseng fell at 0.83. Oil hovered near $88 a barrel as tensions in the Strait of Hormuz continued to influence energy prices. Now, there you have it. That wraps up our news segment and our business markets closing reports for today. It's good to be here with you again, hopefully for another informing, also exciting, and one that you can always learn and take away something from today. Because we're getting into that time. I see you, North Carolina love. Thank you for sharing the love for these two lovebirds here today as well. Yeah. And I want to send huge birthday greetings out to guess who? Miss Shelma. Miss Shelma is celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Miss Shelma. Wishing you many more birthdays to come. And we're hoping that you have felt the love directly, just as we have been sharing it and feeling it here on our platform. So, Miss Shelma, happy birthday to you. Wishing you many more and hoping that you had a fantastic day, no matter what, that you were able to smile for a few minutes and just give God thanks for sparing you to seeing another day. Happy birthday from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks family for sure. We wish you many more. And yes, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is what 46 years of wedding anniversary looks like. Happy anniversary to Herbert and Elsie Mae Miles. Oh my goodness. 46 years they're celebrating today on Miss Shelma's birthday. And these two are jet setting, cruising somewhere in the Caribbean. Watch them. Yeah, I'm going to spread all their business because, that's what you do to family. You spread their business. Watch them. Oh, Lord, they're not as bold as me, though. Well, you know what? Happy wedding anniversary to Elsie Mae and Herbert. Wishing you many more from your children, grandchildren. Yes, the rest of the extended family, even from the BRAC, is sending their love, and all of those who have come in contact with you. There has been so much outpouring of support for both yourselves and Miss Shelma today. We just want to thank you and wishing you many more anniversaries and birthdays here from the Sabrina Speaks family. So yes, we were just so happy that we could share this moment with two of you. And of course, by extension, we want to wish others who are celebrating a birthday and wedding anniversaries today as well. Happy anniversary. Happy birthday from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks show. But we must remember that there are many amongst us, many in our communities, are mourning the love of a loved one. They're mourning the loss of a loved one. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all of you who are navigating this challenging and difficult time. And we don't want you to feel forgotten. I know Mr. Osgood's funeral is tomorrow. Miss Carol's is later on in the weekend. I'm not aware if we have a date yet for Mr. Dennis Tibbetts, but once we are aware of those and get those details, we will be more than happy to keep you abreast of those as well. So yes, so we want to thank you for sharing all the love here on the platform with us today. And as always, once we are aware of it, we will definitely share it with all of you for sure. But yeah, I was impressed. Oh my gosh, they're like movie stars. They're like stars between Shelma and now it's me and Herbert. Oh my goodness. You guys have really shown up, and I'm going to tell you, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you beyond, beyond, beyond. Now, we know yesterday, for those of you who were with us, you heard that the Academy Sports Club is hosting the Portmore football team for their preseason show or training session. Where is the darn flyer? It's here. There we go. And that first game of two kicks off this evening. Yes, Academy Sports Club preseason showdown takes place this evening. It starts in about 10 minutes. And that is going to be at the Academy Field. It's on Outpost Street or in the back of Triple C School. Yeah, Outpost Street. That's where that field is in the back there. So yeah, that is going to take place. Admission for adults is $20. Children under 12 are for free. This is a family event. Let's go out. It's going to be high pack energy this evening and on Saturday as well. You can see the game is 5:30 this evening and on Saturday at 5. I can't, of course, I'm here, but I'll definitely be taking in this match on Saturday. But I want to wish them all success, and we're looking forward. Even though it's a friendly game, we're going to expect them. And they told us it's going to be like, we're coming. So both sides can learn a thing or two. And yes, we know it's that time of the year where we're getting our kids back to school, and maybe you didn't have to buy uniforms, but they probably need a button here, or you can fix the length of the pants or the skirt or whatever it is, adjustments, alterations, period. Well, we want to thank our friends from Friends and Needles who will be at the local farmers market, and they're calling out to East End and North Side because they're offering free school uniform alterations, and you're encouraged to bring your clean uniforms and bring the kids as well. Bring the children for fitting at the market, where Friends and Needles will be providing complimentary hemming, repairs of buttons, replacement for, listen which schools now, East End Primary, Northside Primary, and Clifton Hunter High School students. And this will take place during market hours on Saturday, August the 15th from 9:30 until 4. Okay. Now, this you may ask, well, where is the local farmers market in Northside East End? It is at the East End Heritage Field. Okay. So make sure you go down there between 9:30 and 4. Bring the kids. Don't just take the uniforms to say, I think it's here. Oh, fix this. No. You got to take the kids. Some alterations, you need to have the child there with you. Okay. So that's happening. Want to thank our friends there from Friends and Needles for being so kind, because we know everybody's holding on to every dime right now. And we know how it is after the summer, going back to school. Yeah. Be coming off that summer vacation. At least you don't have to pay for these alterations. Thank you for them. And again, it's the final call for the Prospect Primary School Uniform Store. Saturday the 15th from 9 until 3 is the last Saturday, based on their PR that there's out in the public's domain, that they will be having their opening hours this Saturday. This has been going on from August 1st. So there's no reason why you can say, unless you were traveling and you're back, well, hold on. If it is a Saturday, you want to catch them this Saturday, okay? From 9 until 3. That's the Prospect Primary School Uniform Store for those last minutes. But remember now, those alterations are only for where? East End, Northside, and Clifton Hunter. So we don't want any of you sneaking in with these alterations from Prospect Primary School. But knowing the K mankind and knowing those ladies, but I'm not pushing it. Not doing it at all. But there you have it. That's what I got for a community wrap up here for you this evening, because it's that time now to do the roll call and big you up. My content creators in bloom is always in the house. And look at this beauty, girlfriend Donnie. Yes, Dawn from Green Valley Nursery. Yes, you can't miss it, Nor Valley. Look at this beauty that she's sending us today. Isn't that gorgeous? That's a desert rose, I'm sure, right? Please tell me I didn't get that wrong. That is a desert rose. But yeah, Donnie is sharing this beauty with us today, and she is the owner operator of Green Valley Nursery out in Lower Valley. They're open from, yes, Monday to Saturday from 7 until 4. And you can see beauties like these and so much more. She can fill you up and get you all designed for your space. Thank you, Donnie. And it's so good to have you here with us this evening. Alejandro Ebanks, good afternoon to you as well. It's good to have you here. Barbara G's in the house as well. Good evening to you. Well. And look at who's commenting today. Where have you been? Where you've been? Iva, I'm calling you out. Where have you been? Yeah, you saw this morning. I am quite sure. Did you not? This is what I shared. I had to share what I was having this morning. Oh, my little people in Prospect. Oh my God. And I could call their name because I don't want nobody to rush them. And then they shorten me on what other yellow heart breadfruits I can get. But you know exactly who I'm talking about in Prospect. Thank you for the breadfruit. They are delish and they are yellow heart. Let me tell you something. They were sweet and I peeled them up. But I wouldn't say I roast them. You would say bake them, right? I wrapped them up with foil paper and threw them in the oven and I baked them, let them cool, and I peeled them and I even shared with my aunt and she was raving over them. And Georgette, she enjoyed them just as much as I did. I chose to fry mine. She kind of like steamed hers with other sorts of seasoning. You could just see her, oh my God, going out of it. Well, anyhow, I had some for breakfast this morning and you guess what's in the cup. Guess what's in the cup. I've just up in my business. You're ridiculous. But yes, it's amazing the feedback that I got on that. And it doesn't matter what day of the week I sat down and I enjoyed that. And I listened to Sandra and I was watching. I was doing all kind of things. But yeah, I enjoyed this little moment of me time. And it was just amazing. And, at one point, I just gave God thanks to be living in one of the most beautiful places in the world. And I just gave thanks overall for health, for strength, for just, you just sit down sometimes with all the noise that's around you. And I guess it must be the euphoric reaction from how good this breadfruit tastes. But yeah, for a moment I sat down and I just gave thanks. And I'm just so happy that I could have shared that with you. I didn't keep it to myself. I definitely felt like sharing it with you. And thank you for the feedback. Miss Dorothy knows what I'm talking about. She loves that yellow heart too. I bet you where Marshall is, North Carolina, love, he don't see no breadfruit there. Or am I wrong? I bet you wish you could get some breadfruit. You see Milo up there? Where are you? But yes, I just had to do it because I know he don't see no breadfruit where he is, Nope. Miss Lisa is also joining us this evening and she's sending happy birthday wishes to Miss Shellman. May God bless you. Seeing many, many more from the Brightleys. She's also sharing the love with anniversary couple. And she's saying that she worked with Miss Elsame at Kirk Freeport. Such a sweet lady. May God bless them and see many more also from the Brightleys. Thank you so much for that, Lisa. Yes, people may recognize Elsame from Kirk Freeport. She's the manager of the perfume store in Bayshore. And so a lot of people know her from there. Yeah. And they may recognize her husband. He's at Water Authority for many, many years, Miles. Maybe some other local spots too, but we'll leave that to him. Yes, thank you so much for the kind compliments. Good evening, Sabrina. Looking so cool. I have honestly embraced the summer edition. I'm embracing my new boho braids that I'm hearing people are raving about, and thank you. But that could only be possible, and I got to big up the crew down there at Slay Beauty Bar. And Ashley is the braidist down there, and she's done a phenomenal job. And all of you know I embrace who I am, but I love my extensions. I love my weave. I love every now and again to put on some lashes. Yes, I do my feet. Yes, I wear acrylics. I love me. And I ain't going to be shame of anything. But let me tell you something. For years and years of wearing extensions, went natural, I was shocked at the length of my hair, and so were so many people. Anyhow, I digress. Bottom line is, for years, I've been doing my hair. And let me tell you something. This is not overhyped. This is just the truth. Ashley, God bless you. You're a talented young lady down at Slay. And I hope that this don't block me for future appointments because you're going to get so busy. But Tika and all of you guys, you're a keeper. You're definitely a keeper. She has done a phenomenal job. It's not too tight. She's very gentle. She's neat. She's meticulous, and it just falls so nicely. I want to thank you. And yes, I have to give a plug to my local Caymanian-owned businesses. Even though they have foreign workers in there, they are providing a service for all of us to use. And I want to publicly thank them. Now, of course, I know Carol getting her feeling. She's still the baddest hairdresser. But right now, Ashley, you won me. And is it Sheila? Well, I called you yesterday. The nail tech. Oh, yeah, she good too. She bad. Anyhow. Slay Beauty Bar. Go. Once you can find high-tech electronics, they're in Bigger Rankin's little plaza. Right there. Slay Beauty Bar. Yeah. They can take care of you. So Tika, the crew, yep. Trust me, they have done a phenomenal job. But I love me. I've loved me. 52. Why not rock whatever makes you happy? And if it means going all natural, kudos to you. If it means doing a little extension for some body or just make you look like you're 30 when you're actually 53, 52, 51, why not? Thanks. Thanks to all of those who are a part of my life. And yeah, I never forget Antoy. Big up Antoy. Nail tech. Miss Jane, how are you, my sweet? It was so good, despite the circumstances, seeing you the other day. Oh, my goodness. Ah, those were the days, my love. You're still gorgeous. We're living in the moment, girl. Miss Jane is with us. Hi, Sabrina. Community sale will be happening. She's pushing a community sale on Saturday, the 16th of August at Georgetown Yacht Club from 9 a.m. to noon. Grab some bargains, leftover fines, be split between MOW and, you know what, Miss Jane, 936-8255 if you have a flyer. 936-8255. WhatsApp me the flyer or send me an email at sabrinaspeaks12@gmail.com. Whatever. 936-8255. WhatsApp. Send me a flyer and I'll be more than happy to help you promote that. But it's so good. Thanks. It's good to have you commenting and joining us here on the platform today. Don't forget to follow and like the page so you're never missing an episode. But good to see you, my love. Guess who is here keeping up late as well? Miss Lucille. Good evening, stranger. I am still alive. I ain't a stranger. I'm here. I took one little dega a week. One little dega a week. And Miss Lucille, you could tell me I'm a stranger. One little dega a week, 1 week. But anyhow, it was amazing, the feedback. It's good to have you staying up with us. And I wonder if you took in the eclipse earlier today, but I wish you well. And what are you saying? I'm still alive, wishing all the blessings on our Cayman Islands and the people. Love always, stay strong. Today's Miss Shelma's birthday. You realize that, right? You do not make her get in her feelings. Now, you know, Miss Lucille. Post again. Say, happy birthday, Shelma. I know more than likely you called her, but for God's sake, just say, happy birthday, Shelma. Type it again and hit send. Look at who's lurking. Good evening to you as well. Yes, please, Miss Jean, send it. 936-8255. I'd be more than happy to help you share that. I know exactly what you're doing, and I promise you I'll help you. It's a community event. Of course, girl. Send it through so we can do our part for sure. Yep. Well, there you have it. The phone lines are wide open, 936-8255, as we continue with our summer edition open mic. Okay, cool. Open mic segment here on the Sabrina Speaks show. Yes, and this open mic segment, as we continue open mic summer edition, of course, is proudly sponsored by Bridgepoint Immigration Consulting. 938-1337, or send them an email. That's bridgepoint.imm@gmail.com. There you go. Thank them for their sponsorship for sure. See, Donnie is sharing the love as well. Yeah. Comment below. Happy birthday, Shelma. But I know Miss Lucille. Miss Lucille know why I'm telling her to do that. Anyhow, like I said, at any point in time, we still got to provide content here for you all. You know how it goes. But one of the news articles drew my attention to something that is very important here. And I think far too long we report certain things, but we're not looking probably or speaking about it. I can't say that that's the same. Say what you want about CMR, the cold hard truth. What I'm talking about is the ruling that was handed down earlier today in Grand Court. And it was a case that was reported right here. You can go on the CMR page and you will see where it involved, and we reported it, a Ricardo Taylor who has been found guilty of multiple offenses that involved a child after a 5-day trial. You heard me read it, right? Now, this ruling, my friends, in my humble opinion, I had to go do some digging a little bit. This ruling shouldn't just be a headline, and it shouldn't be another case where, okay, sentence, do you feel justice was served? This is not just another headline. It's just not another story. This, my friends, is a reminder of a painful one, of the reality that we are really facing here at home. And what it is, it's a bright light and a huge glaring light that sexual offenses, what's so heart-wrenching is because it's especially those involving children. Now, straight across the board, it shouldn't be anyone, right? You know, these are not distant issues at all. They, my friends, are happening here. That was a ruling in our local court. They're happening right now, and they're demanding, based on statistics that I was able to find very quickly, that it really requires our full attention. And it only may hit home more when you hear the numbers. So I'm going to try my best to break it down. And like I said, the phone lines are wide open. This is not one where we're going to be, in this case, wanting to stereotype or whatever, but I'm going to be as balanced as I can, but just look at the facts of what I have in regards to this ruling that points to a serious and growing problem that we are actually seeing happening here in our own home, not even on our doorstep. No, this is happening right here. At the end of the day, it is about the larger pattern that this case represents. And in my humble opinion, it's about the rising number of sexual offenses that are here in our islands. To be honest, it is about the increasing vulnerability of children. And it's really about the cultural dynamics of a diverse population as well. We're going to probably we want to go into that a little bit as well. And it's about Cayman's strong Christian values and how they guide us in protecting the most vulnerable. Yeah, I said that, right? Isn't that what we're built on? And it's about the urgent need for awareness, more education, and community action. Because the numbers that I'm about to tell you right now are clear. And the trend is real. And the impacts, unfortunately, is devastating. Now, let me tell you exactly what that was, okay? According to the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, there was a total of 58% of all sexual offense victims in 2025 were who? Children. Let me read that again for emphasis. According to the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, 58% of all sexual victims in 2025 were children. More than half children. In 2025, Cayman recorded 125 sexual offenses. That, my friend, is a 20% increase from the year before. And in 2024, sexual offenses rose 21% compared to 2023. These numbers, my friends, tells us that sexual assaults in all forms, shapes, and sizes is rising right here at home. But what it's also telling us is that children disproportionately are being affected. And that is where our greatest responsibility lies. So I'm hoping that by sharing this, coupled with the fact that of that ruling, that when we look at our responsibility as a community and where community protection is concerned, I welcome your feedback. I need to hear exactly if it even resonated with you, what that number represent, and really, unfortunately, what type of picture is that painting of the society that we are living in right now? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, and factually, when it comes to, are we talking about sexual assaults here in the Cayman Islands, both in general, we're going to try to focus our best on the highlighted part, the ones who are helpless. These are our children. But I want it to be from a perspective as well, where I get your feedback for civic engagement. Making sure that we put an awareness, a spotlight on this, an added awareness and spotlight on it, because really the only one that I've been hearing hammering this home has really been Sandra. The cold hard truth. Every moment she gets, she does it. Why? As I was challenged yesterday, not that I wasn't prepared to talk about it, why isn't then this being spoken about more loudly, getting the attentions, conversation going? Not this case. We're talking about these numbers on every platform. Yeah, more. You don't have to put labels, you don't have to put names, you don't have to do, but having the discussion, bringing an awareness, because a lot of people may not be even aware of those staggering numbers. And even if they hear the numbers, they may just assume it's adults. No, those are our kids. Some may say that's sick. Who would do that? All types of people live in here. All type of cultures, all types of, this is not pointing. We're just not, what's the dynamic of our society right now? We got a lot of protection to do. We got a lot of work to do as well. But if we're not having the public discord, having information, seeing the trends that is right there, which we got the information, what are we going to do about it? Who's holding who accountable? How much more can we go through the system and be held accountable for doing such heinous things? So at the end of the day, again, the phone lines are wide open. I welcome your feedback. 936-8255 as I share what information I have with you. And I know I brought this up before based on the last report from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, but I didn't necessarily delve in to each report's findings of that time. Okay. So let's look at the realities right now. And I had to do some research. So please bear with me. I have to keep looking at my notes. All right. The reality of sexual assault here in the Cayman Islands, this is real. And for those of you just joining us, welcome. It's good to have you join us here this evening, and feel free to participate. Want to send me a WhatsApp, by all means, you're free to do so. 936-8255 is the number to send me a WhatsApp. I'll keep you anonymous for sure. And or if you want to join in live, 936-8255, you can call us on WhatsApp there as well. We are seeing Geraldo, good afternoon to you as well. Donnie is saying happy anniversary to both. Their anniversary greetings are still coming through, and so is Miss Lucille. Yes, she got the warning. She said, happy birthday, Miss Shelma. I've been sending wishes all morning. But anyway, the day is not finished, so have some more. Enjoy your special day. Love, blessings always. Stay safe, Shelma, and don't do what I would not do. Oh my gosh. That's deep. Oh, Colombia is in the house. I'm visit Cayman Islands. I'm from Colombia. Oh, well, welcome. Welcome. My hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to you guys over there in Colombia. Yeah, but welcome to our platform. Please remember to like and follow so you don't miss an episode. And well wishes and best wishes to you. And I'm hoping that, you were not one of those, or any family or anyone, close to you were impacted by that earthquake. But it's good to have you here with us. Is it Miller Geraldo? Yes. So welcome. It's good to have you here on the platform as we continue with this very it's not a conversation that I want to have or I like to have, but we can't just steer away from this. No, we just can't. We have to bring an awareness, so we nip it in the bud. Are we still late? It's never too late when we actually do an action plan to try and stop and highlight these type of things that's happening in our community. And this is why having the information from trusted sources and knowing what to do, creating an awareness, creating discussions, and working together as a community to get it out, to rid it out of our society is key. So let's look at the reality here in general and from the perspective of children here in the Cayman Islands. This is, as I alluded to earlier, sexual assaults here is unwanted. That, for what it is in its entirety, when you accuse someone of being guilty of sexual assault, it is any unwanted sexual act committed without consent. Straight up, okay? Sexual assault is any unwanted sexual act committed without consent. And it affects women, men, teens, children, minors. It happens in the homes, workplaces, social settings, and guess what? Right here, online. Oh yeah, it can happen online. It crosses all cultures, economics, and social boundaries as well. Sexual assault, it does all of that. And right here at home, the Cayman Islands, we are coming to the harsh realization and facts based on data that sexual assaults here are rising. 125 sexual assaults in 2025, 20% increase from 2024, and 21% increase in 2024 compared to 2023. These numbers, to tell you what they are, includes rape, attempted rape, indecent assault, sexual harassment, digital and sexual offenses, possession or creation of indecent images, child sexual assault, exploitation, grooming, incest, and other sexual crimes. So these statistics that I'm sharing with you from here includes all of what I've told you there. They do not represent how much cases, though, have already been brought to court and have been decided on. So just make that clear, okay? But here's the most alarming part. Children make up the majority of the victims, is what this data is revealing. Again, 58% of these sexual victims in 2025 were minors. And what that is telling us, my friends, is that sexual assault is not just an adult issue. It is a child protection crisis, is what we're seeing unfolding right before our eyes. And in both adults and child cases, the Royal Cayman Islands Police has made one thing clear, that most of these offenders are known to the victim. That's sad, isn't it? This is not about strangers hiding in the bushes. This is about people with access to these vulnerable children, minors, or adults. People who are trusted if we're keeping the attention on our children or minors. People who blend into everyday life. Yeah. And the reality requires some serious awareness. It requires vigilance. And it also requires some serious education, accountability, and it requires courage. Lots of it. Because you don't want it to be a space where we're become a culture of it's almost acceptance because people are not speaking out. No, it doesn't mean it's accepted. It just means a lot of people either, one, don't trust the system, or they don't have the courage. Or do we need to beef up on the services that are available so people can be handled with dignity and trust and still be dealt with privately? Because we understand the negative impacts of being a small island jurisdiction and how quickly identifiers can get out there. And that, in many cases, could throw people into some serious depression, self-harm, not liking themselves. So it is very tricky. The resources, who you speak to, that will build that courage and trust into those who are victims or think are possible victims. Okay, they may think that they're a victim, they have been exposed to, or they're experiencing some people try to identify it. Am I just overthinking things? Am I pushing it? Am I overreading things? Yeah. Not being any expert by any means, hence the disclaimer at the beginning. But if something doesn't feel right, trust me, it's wrong. It's more than likely wrong, and you're in the wrong place. Okay? If you get that little feeling that this is feeling off, trust it. You're not wrong. And what we're seeing now here in the Cayman Islands is opening us up even more, because we see our very own Cayman Islands is home to more than 140 nationalities. We are a melting pot of cultures, customs, and behaviors. And with this diversity in itself enriches our society, yes, but it also can create some serious complexities. We curse this one nationality, that other nationality, but at least some of them that are closer to home, they align with our rules, our teachings, our customs, our cultures more than some that we have no clue of their cultures. lest I digress. But different cultures have different views on gender roles, discipline, privacy, children's independence, reporting abuse, thrust in even institutions, sexuality as a whole, families, hierarchy, conflict resolution, and also community involvement. With all of these different nationalities that can create these complexities, each one of those cultures and different nationalities can have different views on those things. But none of these differences are wrong. Let me make it clear. None of these differences are even bad. But they can create some serious misunderstandings. Don't misread me. They can create, my friend, blind spots, is where I'm going with this. Don't make the humility, the soft-spokenness, and all of that fool you sometimes. That could be a blind spot. And with those blind spots, because we're not cultured to pick up certain things that is a norm, that is where the creation of vulnerabilities can be born. And with Cayman's Christian foundation, which emphasizes modesty, family unity, forgiveness, community support, moral responsibilities, and protection of the vulnerable, what we can see here is that is our foundation, our bedrock, and these values are very powerful. And they are very protective as well. But sometimes, my friends, they can make conversations about sexual assaults uncomfortable or even completely avoided. And we must be able to say, we must talk about it, talk about sexual assaults, about what it looks like, what it could feel like, these hairs on your neck standing up, but not to weaken our Christian values. That approach strengthens the Christian values. Protecting children and protecting adults as well, and even our seniors, those who are mentally challenged. You think they're avoided, or you think they're immune from sexual assaults? Those who have mental issues, they're not immune from it. That is an adult's moral duty. It's a community's duty. And guess what is also a duty? It's a spiritual duty. And in any diverse society like ours, with so much nationalities that obviously continues to grow, we must navigate cultural differences without blaming any one group. But hold on, it doesn't say we must not identify or be able to pick up very quickly. Well, that's a norm from where they're coming from. Why do you think they would view it as assault? It's normal that this gender is nobody versus us, where it's just a no. Where's the line in the sand? You're here, you need to understand our cultures. But it could be a norm that switch does not just turn off because they're here. And what they're accustomed to is not necessarily what is our customs here. And that is why We are hearing so much people crying out saying, oh my God, what's happening? We're losing our society. We're losing our community. We're not even able to identify our community. We have a duty to focus on behaviors and not backgrounds. We must focus on the protection side of things and not prejudice. And with that, gatekeepers, excellent training and case file, and creating that environment where people feel safe to actually go and report and not be looked at because of where you're coming from, where you raised up, your name, your ethnicity, your gender, your financial standing in the community, your past. It should not matter without prejudice. Because looking at the numbers again and understanding what that means, the trends in themselves should be a rude awakening to what and how and our community is evolving, it's shaping. And that's only in one particular area. With a 20% increase in 2025, that's just general sexual assaults. A 21% increase in 2024. Rape and indecent assault on a rise. Digital and sexual offenses also increasing. More adults reporting sexual violence. More cases involved unknown offenders. What does that say? You got to understand it. For it to really take on a new meaning for what our society is appearing or is becoming. And when you look then at the child and these trends, child safeguarding referrals increased, my friends, by 22%. Because what? 58% of the victims in 2025 were children. And child safeguarding referrals increased by 22%. My friends, 2,203 referrals made to the MASH unit alone in 2024. 2,203 cases. 165 criminal investigations resulted. And 40 additional investigations were handled by the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. And we also are seeing where increase in indecent images of children and increase in grooming and digital exploitation. These numbers, my friends, tells us the obvious. If you haven't figured it out by now, sexual assaults is rising straight across the board. Children, as I said in the beginning, are disproportionately affected. And reporting these increases, which is good, is increasing. Now, with the awareness is rising as well, that is a necessity. But the community is becoming more vigilant, which is also essential. But it begs the question, how much are we missing? Is the system moving too slowly at really getting and nabbing these? And this is why people are calling for a sexual registry for offenders. Sexual offenders registry. People are calling for that. And again, adding to the list of national discussions that needs to be had, yes, it is warranted. Warranted. I have heard for years it only becomes topical unfortunate when there's a case that's reported or when there's a ruling that is made, and then certain things tend to die down. But who has been constantly on it? Kudos goes to Sandra Hill. It is what it is. Yeah. We need to act. We need this to stop. Are we going to wait for another report for the 2025, 2026? Well, you always be them. These statistic reports are always behind. You don't really get real-time statistics. All reports are usually having a lag time, sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years, some as less as 6 months. It all depends. But usually when these findings are reported on, you don't get real-time statistics. You can get guesstimates based on trends for forecasting, what is projected. And certain things are hard to forecast because in this case, we don't know. We don't know what is happening, how much are going to report. And if we got some idea of accountability, enforcement, oversight, then you can expect to forecast based on what key legislation, what policies, oversight, enforcement are put in place, surveillance is in place. You can only expect or hope for a decrease in numbers. But that's not always the case. Some things are not as easy to forecast than others because these are people's lives. These are persons that we're asking to either be very vocal to report them. And in many cases, we've seen the numbers. There are children who are not making decisions on their own. And some of them probably don't even understand what is even happening to them. But maybe there's a helper, a neighbor, a sibling, a distant relative. Who may know? Is it good enough to just say, I'm minding my own business, not getting involved? Oh my goodness. Is that good enough? No, it's not. We have a duty. We have a responsibility, and we must act. Lisa Brightly is saying, Sabrina, what is taking the sex registry so long is my question this evening. I have no clue, to be honest with you. And I'm hoping that Sandra will actually do another segment on this because I know she has been very active with this. She's had this clarion call. I know she's done some serious, deep research. She's been keeping up with certain things and she's been in constant communication. So I'm really hoping that she too will continue on this to give us some updates and that the government, the ministry, the minister, the chief officers, with the minister's permission, would be able to give us a national update on this in regards to where we are with this registry. Because I don't know what more should have put fire and action under any government agency in seeing where we have a serious issue was when that Royal Cayman Islands statistical report that they had that press briefing went out and those stats were made public. How much time has lapsed now? And have we heard anything? No, we haven't heard anything yet. I stand to be corrected though. But we've gotten this ruling today. This is the judiciary arm doing their job. Now, what are we doing nationally that may require legislative or policy changes that could possibly answer, Lisa, when is the timeline? When is the date? Whether or not it's even going to happen. At some point in time, this is going to come to head and it needs to happen now because the numbers are not lying. Aliano is with us. No Jerry Springer Beach today. Oh, Lord, you're home chilling. I hope you're behaving yourself too. Good evening, Andrew. It's good to have you here with us. And Aliana said, don't care for statistics. We need solutions to be proactive. Yeah. You know, some people are saying, well, if it's my child, if it's this, I know this would happen. That's jungle justice. And you know what? We shouldn't even say if it is my child. But I understand when somebody says that. If it's one of my own, this is what I would do. I don't mind going behind bars. I don't mind getting injured. But I tell you this, if it happens to my child, my son, my daughter, I telling you, because right now I'm not seeing the system taking care of these people in a timely manner, and they're still out there. I don't know who's living next to me. I don't know who my neighbor is. Yeah. People have gotten to the point now where they're saying, we're tired of waiting. Where do we stand on this subject is what's happening. Do we need another case to come to have a final ruling? We still don't know what the sentencing will be, because of course it has to take its course. But at the end of the day, nationally, Houston, we got a problem. We got a problem. The statistics are showing us. What is our society becoming? Are we doing enough to safeguard our children? Needless to say, we got all the other things that are happening with child safeguarding and everything else nationally. We're looking at the sexual assaults and these. We're looking at even environments that some of our kids are being placed in at no choice of theirs, but based on the decisions of the adults that are raising them, that are exposing them to certain practices and behaviors that they have no choice of being exposed to because of acceptance. Yes, I went there because how can that be defined as assault? Can it? Yeah. Is it good enough for us to say that's the way it's the world is evolving, that's the way we're going, just leave it? But when you have statistics, as we speak about sexual assault in this context, that is screaming loud from the mountaintops that we have a problem in our society. And there are ways that you can somewhat try to identify these things, but being able to identify them is a first step. And it's a step in the right direction, but we also need policies and legislation that go along with this, and also the enforcement arm that holds those culprits accountable. And then there gets to a wider conversation. What are we willing to accept in our country? What are the national policies around this type of thing when we speak about child safeguarding based on all of these assaults that is coming up in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service reports? Because sexual assaults does not always look like violence, you know. No, it doesn't mean you're going to be coming up with a bungay, black and blue, nicks, scratches, bruises. No, it can be so stubble. It can be hidden. It can even be disguised as affection, mentorship, or even we friends, we buddies, we that close, you know, of course. I'm not out of place. Aren't you my friend? Aren't we besties? Yeah, it can be very stubble. And for adults, some of the warning signs, in case you need some help with it, let's see what Andrew is saying here. Prevention is better than cure. It is what I've always heard. We have a serious dilemma on our hands, which is apparently getting worse. Who are these people? Caymanians, expatriates, work permit holders? Excellent questions. But it doesn't need to be here. It doesn't need to be anywhere. And in this is one time, it doesn't matter what nationality they are. It doesn't matter what their immigration status is. If they're guilty of it, trust me, full extent of the law needs to be applied. Full extent of the law needs to be applied. Yeah. So, Andrew, I get what your question is asking, but this is one time. It doesn't matter who's committing the acts, who's committing the crimes. It doesn't matter. Everybody, in my opinion, when it comes to any of these, and any crimes are on the same playing field. I mean, some of them you say as well, we incarcerate them, we gotta feed them, we gotta pay for them. You know that how much that's costing, but does it mean that send them home with no agreements that they maintain and they're incarcerated wherever they're coming from? They're still free. Where does justice come out on the part of the victims and the families? At least if they're incarcerated here or whatever the sentencing is, at least you know they're serving their time out here, right? So it's a balancing act. But very good questions, Andrew. And that's where data is important. And this is where nationally, besides the statistics that has been granted here, I guess the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service would be able, if they are able to get those statistics, would be in a better position to clean up and go in a deeper dive into these statistics to break it down. Break it down. Nationality, gender, immigration status. And then what? It ain't gonna make a difference in holding them accountable. You see what I'm saying? Because it could answer a lot of questions if it is imported cultures and behaviors. That's one thing. It could also say, is it our own? Yeah. But then what? What do you do with that information is another thing. And that is where you can get all the statistics in the world. When you get the statistics and the information locally, how does that steer policy, legislation, and enforcement and marching orders from a national perspective? There's one thing of having the data, but there's another thing of knowing what to do with the information for it to be effective in a country. Yeah, because we're not short of information. That much we know. We're not short of the information. What do you do with it? How much further do you dig into that information? And the direction in which you're digging, what is the outcome you're expecting is another thing. So the multi-offenses issue is something that becomes a problem caused by the courts, cause one-time offense need to have a big stick applied and nip it in the butt. This is a comment from Aliano. Well, you see, the judiciary is a separate arm, but they work in accordance to what legislation that governs certain offenses as well. Who's responsible based on recommendations, possibly trends and data for amendments and changes and putting more teeth in the law, aka sentencing and freeing lines, is our elected arm. Yeah. Your elected leaders are the ones responsible for creating laws and policies based on information like this, guidance from persons who are working in the industry, from policy advisors and stuff. But it is glaring in the eyes what's happening here. So having these type of conversations, seeing these type of data, whoever is responsible for all of this, Aliano, that you're asking, for the judiciary arm to do their job, we need to have certain things clearly ingrained in writing, in legislation. And who writes your legislation? Who makes laws and regulations and policies? Our elected arm. That's their job. Yeah. So we would have to look at what legislations, what are the fines and all that sort of stuff here for these types of offenses. If you feel that they're just too narrow, not enough teeth, this is where the experts from the judiciary comes in. This is where they come in and they will help you. But there has to be political will, and there has to be that will at pace in order to make it worthwhile. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind?
Good evening, Sabrina. This is Siobhan. I'm late, but I reach. I
Yep.
I miss all of it. I don't know how far you reach,
Well, I'm
but I have to
speaking.
call in.
All right. I have spoken about the statistics from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service that highlights that 58% of our victims in
Ooh,
2025 were children.
children.
Safeguarding and referrals, how much were referred to the MASH unit, and we're not only looking at possibly in imported cultures and behaviors, but there is based on comments, people are asking, where's the registry? Where is, there could be imported
Mm-hmm,
behaviors as well, because we're not
mm-hmm,
identifying certain
mm-hmm.
behaviors that is a norm. But at the end of the day, we have a duty to protect and child
And
safeguarding
safeguard.
nationally, yes, is needed.
Well,
And where is the national conversation about that?
oh well. Everybody wants a registry, but nobody wants to do, or everybody says that they want one. I'm talking about MPs, but none of them have made efforts in the direction of getting one. None of them. None of them. And that's not just this government. That's past, previous, successive, whatever word you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here now. I can't talk about what Sabrina should have done when she was there. Well, you can. I don't know what I could get you, but talking about what we got to deal with the here and now. And in 2026, I speak about this ad nauseum. I post on every chat group, every Facebook group, my personal page. We just had someone convicted yesterday, and the news called him, so I got calling him Mr. Ricardo Taylor,
I called it in a
who was
news segment as well.
who was convicted yesterday, found guilty by a jury of his peers, 6 women and men. One had to be dismissed, putting it down to 6, and was found guilty of assaulting a 6-year-old at the time. Now tell me, what more than that begs for a sex offenders registry?
Mm-hmm.
We gonna wait till they get younger? Or are we going to wait until they get younger? Or are we going to just keep having the conversation?
Mm-hmm.
I am not suggesting or trying to diminish rape or sexual assault against non-minors.
Mm-hmm.
It's all heinous and despicable, right? Children are defenseless. They often don't know. They often don't understand. And guess what? 90% of sexual assaults and abuse against children are by people they know and
Yes,
trust.
I covered that in the stats.
By
Mm-hmm.
they know that they know and that they trust.
Mm-hmm.
Your teachers, your pastors, your parents, your coaches, people who are in authority,
Mm-hmm.
people who we as parents have said, you got to listen to Miss Sabrina. You got to listen to Mr. John.
Mm-hmm.
You got to listen. In 2026, I don't think you can ever be too careful. But I shouldn't have to be. I have 2 children myself. And guess what? They're children. They're not furniture. They're not a chair. They're people. And I should know if there's a sex offender in my neighborhood. Because it's only then that I can protect my children and the other children within the neighborhood and women who tend to be the largest percentage of victims of sexual assault. I'm not saying that men aren't sexually assaulted. I'm saying women and children are the highest percentage of sexual assaults. This is worldwide. I didn't make that statistic up.
Mm-hmm.
Go look it up. Right? And what protection can a mother, a father, a grandparent, whatever, offer if we don't know? If we don't know, you spoke about importing some of these behaviors. People are going to say, oh, what a prejudice and don't like foreigners. Blah, 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 blah. No, sweetheart. We don't know. We know some of it is not imported. I'm going to call his name, Jeffrey Barnes, one of the most prolific one of the most prolific sexual abusers that this country has. We have another young man. I forget his name. His name escapes me right now. He's forever in news for sexual assault. He's a sexual deviant. That is his thing. I don't know, breaking into people's houses in apartments. And we can name them.
Mm-hmm.
We can name them. But somehow others, some get named and some don't. How is it that because if we can't get an offenders registry, we deserve to know who it is. We deserve to know who it is. Only then can we protect ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and our children and our community at large. I posted the other day in a group saying, basically, I had the benefit of knowing that we call him Mr. Red was a pervert because my mother said, Mr. Red is a pervert. And when you see him, you run straight past his house.
Mm.
Who knew that? You can't even do that anymore. You don't even know. You know why? Because the court ain't naming him. The court is not naming him. What I want to know is what sets Ricardo Taylor apart from all the other sick individuals that have done this, that have not been named. What sets Jeffrey Barnes apart from other offenders that have done the same thing? The people that they assaulted are no less victims than the people that the unnamed perpetrators assaulted. Children, women, mothers, grandmothers, they're no less victims.
Mm-hmm.
So why? So my understanding is that why they're not being named in a lot of instances is to protect the identity of the victim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
we named him. We named Ricardo Taylor. So that victim wasn't deserving of this protection that they've conjured up in their mind. I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I also tuned into a bit of it and heard you speaking about changes to legislation in terms of the sentencing laws around rape and sexual assault. We have some of the highest sentences on the book for those offenses. They're just not being done. And I guess I can speak to this
But
area.
the judiciary arm is responsible. That came about
100%.
because
100%.
that came about because of a comment that a contribution that Aliano made. Said the multiple offense issue is something that becomes a problem because caused by the courts, because one-time offense need to have a big stick applied and nip it in the butt immediately. So
100%.
I said, well, maybe they're only acting within the confines of what the legislation says. And if there needs to be more teeth, more time in it, then that job is political will. And who changes laws based on recommendations? And obviously the stats are here, are the elected arm. That's where that was derived.
But what I'm saying is, in a lot of cases, I believe the penal code has its, and I stand corrected on this. My memory don't go back that far, but I believe within the penal code there is a specific section for sexual assault that lists the sentences for those things. In my opinion, in some instances, they're not playing the big stick, and Aliano is exactly right. He is exactly right. We are doling out sentences. I mean, hefty, like stick across your back sentences for burglaries and robberies. And I'm not suggesting that those aren't very vicious crimes. I'm not saying that they aren't. But where is the protection for victims of sexual assault? I will tell you right now, my car almost, not me, Sabrina, it was my car, almost went over a known sex offender. But my dash cam was on. I had to pump the brakes and said, no car, you can't do that. Is that what we have to start doing now? I mean, what is there left for us to do?
Well, put the pressure on. I see where Andrew is doing here, commenting here, saying politicians can only pass laws and legislations to implement stiff penalties for the crime. They cannot prevent the crime from happening. That young child is traumatized for life. Nothing can resolve that impact. If the guilty person gets 20 years, that is punishment, but cannot take away the pain that the victim bears for
Absolutely.
life. Estella Scott Roberts was brutally murdered, and 2 guilty persons get life. Her life is gone. Where is justice?
Absolutely. But we don't have a death penalty country. We don't have a death penalty country. We saw a young man, and I'm not suggesting that he got off by any stretch. We just saw a young man sentenced to 31 years. Well, in fact, he was sentenced to life for murder. And the current law on the books require that you get consideration, not parole, consideration for parole after 30 years. His crime was found to be so aggravating. The judge added a year. The judge added a year. That commenter spoke about Estella Scott Roberts. May God rest her soul. She died for a cause that she pounded the pavement for. She was such a safe haven for so many, particularly women, abused and battered women. And look how she died. And look at how she died. What has changed since then? The only thing that has changed since then, we've gotten worse. It's gotten worse. And no, you cannot legislate for stupidity. You cannot legislate for what my grandma say, badness. You can't legislate for those things. But if we take a more proactive approach, people know that talking on your cell phone is $150. People still do it, but I would suggest to a lesser degree. I may be wrong. But people need to know, Sabrina. I deserve to know.
Yeah.
As the parent of 2 young children, I deserve to know if there's a pedophile living next door to me. I shouldn't have to keep my children like furniture in my house because, well, you just don't know. I can do all of the protection to my children and teach them about this and teach them about that, right? And I know the statistics around sexual assault, but if I don't know, how I can protect them, Sabrina?
It's true. Well,
how am I going to protect them?
I did a little bit of digging while you were talking, so I'm not like I'm ignoring you by any stretch of the imagination, because we were talking about the penal code, correct? And I like to have it here. And it says, rape, maximum penalty, life imprisonment. Under section 127, rape carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. Actual sentences typically fall between 12 to 20 years for adults, 18 to 30 years for child victims. Aggravated factors, child victim violence, threats, repeat offending, push sentences toward the upward end. Now, assault by penetration, maximum penalty, life imprisonment.
Okay, let me pause you right there. Pause right there. Ricardo Taylor was charged with assault by penetration, and I am dying. I am going to sit in that courtroom on September 25th to look the lowlife in the face that did this. But let me tell you something else. I am equally going to be there to see the what did you say the penalty?
No,
the minimum for
hold on. Let me finish. Introduced in 2018 amendments, this offense is treated equivalently to rape. Sentences often range 10 to 20 years, depending on harm, coercion, and victim vulnerability.
We saw a 68-year-old man sentenced the other day to 6 years for assaulting an 8-year-old child. What part of the sentence in that judge were reading? And I'm telling you, Sabrina, listen, the MPs are part of the problem, but so is the judiciary, you know. So is the judiciary.
My findings also went on to break down indecent assault, maximum penalty 10 years. Under Section 128 sets a 10-year maximum typical sentence in range, 2 to 6 years for adults, 4 to 10 for children, where touching is repeated, coerced, or involves grooming. Sentences increase sharply. Then you have sexual assaults of a child. Maximum penalties varies by offense. The Penal Code contains 8 child-specific sexual offenses, each with its own sentencing ceiling. Common maximum includes causing or inciting a child to engage in sexual activity up to 15 years, sexual communication with a child up to 7 years, causing a child to watch sexual activity up to 10 years, arranging or facilitating sexual activity with a child up to 15 years, and judges treat child vulnerability as one of the strongest aggravating factors in Cayman law.
So you tell me, based on the sentences, and I'll look them up and send them to you afterwards. You just read it, right? And I guess I know a little bit about the law, and I think I've been doing it for a long time. I can speak to it, right? Sentences are not just dawned out. You know, they follow kind of a pattern. They look at similar and like cases, and they're based on that. But you know what else? You know what else they can do? You can have precedent-making cases, meaning you can use that case to set an example for everything that come after it. For everything that come after it. But you know what we reserve those sentences for? People like Sandra. Call her and ask her. Call her and ask her. We reserve those for people like Sandra. She appealed it and she won. She appealed it and she won. We set those kind of sentences for people. There was a young man involved in a DVDL scandal who received a tremendous sentence after being investigated for 6 years by the Anti-Corruption Commission. I believe that young man received almost 4 years in prison. We have people go, and I am not suggesting that these people shouldn't go to prison for significant time, Sabrina.
Understood.
But I am sorry. I am sorry. You cannot. That young man that went to prison for that DVDL thing was dead wrong. I'll say that as long as the day is long. He was dead wrong. And what he did was truly despicable and truly put people's lives at risk. But guess what? You have a known perpetrator. And the best that you can do, and when you give out sentences, they should be also reflective of the community. And they should be given out with the community's protection in mind. Okay? We see sentences for sexual assault like 4 and 6 years. 4 and 6 years. You said earlier for rape, you could get up to life in prison, 25 years. We had that DJ, I believe his name is, let me not call his name because I might get it wrong and I don't want him to sue me. But we had a DJ who basically raped a young lady who I believe was from Canada visiting. And you know how much time he got? Raped and impregnated her, by the way. Tried to terminate her pregnancy. He got 15 years.
Adult victims is 12 to 20 years for adults for rape. Maximum penalty, of course, is life.
He got 15 years. The maximum penalty is life. Like you said, is life.
But normally 12 to 20 years for adults and 18 to 30 for children.
So we hand down mandatory minimum sentences for gun crimes and what I'm going to describe as gun paraphernalia. But we don't consider sexual assault deserving of mandatory minimum crimes. Because that no impact nobody.
Based on what I dug
what is
up,
wrong with this?
What I dug up in the seconds of this conversation going live, thanks to AI and of course putting into our law, I double checked it. It says right here that in the Cayman Islands, sexual offenses carry some of the strongest penalties in the region. Because what it says here, for what we have, rape and assaults by penetration can result in life, which we read, and child-specific offenses carry maximum ranging from 7 to 15 years with actual sentencing, often significantly higher when grooming, coercion, or breach of trust is involved. So what you are alluding to is saying and screaming out for the judicial arm to do their job, to be
Do
a
their job.
precedent setting. But that all depends on how case files are actually presented, my friend.
Sabrina, I want to turn on the news worldwide, not just in the region. We are a British crown colony.
Mm-hmm.
I want to turn on the news and see somebody with a sexual offense, and they refer to grand court judgment or vagina versus whoever, and it be I want to be I want Cayman to be on the books as a precedent setting jurisdiction for zero tolerance
For
for sexual offenses.
Yeah.
Zero tolerance, Sabrina. I want people to know really, there's no amount of legislation that is going to get rid of it. It will not, Sabrina. And I am not so stupid or ignorant to believe that you can legislate against it. No, you can't.
But
no, you can't.
everybody has their
But
part to play. And this is why they say,
you must know that, listen, you go up there, you're going for a long time. You're going for a long time.
and when
Something has to be a deterrent, Sabrina. We can't just lock up our arms and say, well, this is what it is. This is what it is. And we can be outraged.
it becomes normalized.
We can be outraged by Parliament not changing. But I told you to just check it out. You listed a host of sentences that can be given for these offenses.
But when
I
the
don't
judge
think-
is carrying down their sentencing, they actually weigh on harm, culpability, victim
Absolutely.
vulnerability heavily on that as
Now,
well.
tell me something.
Sexual
Tell
harm
me
and all
something.
of that. These
all
are
of
things.
those things are the pleasantries and ancillaries that go along with all sentences.
Okay,
They just
I
say
got
all
you.
of this
Yeah.
Google gaga stuff that make everybody feel good and you're not being inhumane. Tell me which rape victim is not vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I will wait.
Mm-hmm.
I will wait. Tell me which rape victim is just sign me up. I can't wait. Is it the 6-year-old girl that had to testify by ABE for Ricardo Taylor? Or is it the young lady in Canada that had to relive her rape, her pregnancy termination, be subjected to testing for STDs? Which one is more vulnerable? Which one is more or less vulnerable?
Mm-hmm.
Which one? We have an old a senior citizen in West Bay who, if you're from West Bay, you would say, oh well, she was a bum, right? She was on the street. I believe she suffered with a lot of addiction problems. She was so badly sexually assaulted that I think she now resides in the old people, like the Golden Age home.
Oh no!
Like it was that vicious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nothing ever came of it. You never heard anything about it. But I live down here. I know. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Which one of those people are less vulnerable? Am I less vulnerable because I choose to exercise? I choose to leave my home to exercise at 4:00 in the morning. Am I more or less vulnerable?
Or go feed the cats? Or
if you go and feed the cat, am I more or less vulnerable? If we don't send a message of a zero tolerance and start slamming out some sentences that slap some sense into these people, build another wing at Northward for sexual offenders and make them know we will keep them up there. We will keep them up there. I would like to do other things to them, Sabrina, that I probably shouldn't say on the radio. But the human rights does not allow us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That simply does not allow. But to continue to evade and elude accountability and not seek the highest possible sentences that statutes allow and or amend the existing legislation so that it is reflected. I don't care what any other jurisdiction is doing, Sabrina.
Mm-hmm.
I live here.
Mm-hmm.
I live here. In 2020, we had 130, I think it was 130 There are the 4 nationalities represented. By God, we must go 1 million now. We are bringing people from every corner of the globe. And you know what they're not doing? Leaving their customs and habits where they come from.
They're bringing what's in them, their culture,
Okay?
what's a
They're
norm for
bringing
them.
what is in them. They don't hang that up when they come through the gate, you know. They bring that with them too. I don't have a choice but to put up with some of the plagues that is Caymanian. I shouldn't have to put up with none of the rest. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And until we have a zero tolerance, not only in response, but in our sentencing laws, and actually knowing that you were going to know that if Magistrate Sabrina on the bench and somebody comes before her for a sexual offense, they're going for the maximum. So they do their best and hope they get another judge. Do their best and hope they get another judge. That should be the
normal standard. It should be straight across the board.
That should be the sentiment. Okay? I was not name the judge. But we used to have a judge and say, boy, she hate men. She hate men. No, she didn't hate men, you know. She had a high standard and she required much of them. If you won't call that hating them, then so be it. We got to call people to the highest version of themselves and stop putting up and tolerating gutter behavior. It's not helping anybody, Sabrina. And when you can rape your child and impregnate her, go to Northwood prison, almost be killed up there and walk around with an S on your chest like you Superman, with my car almost misbehaving, wanting to go over you. Sabrina, this is the society that we live in. They're proud. They're walking around here, like I say, with an F on their chest, proud as peacocks. And their children are living ruined lives. But that's the best that we can do. How long should you keep them locked up? Life. That's what the book says. Life. That's what it says. Who is more vulnerable than your own child that loves, trusts you, and believe everything that you tell them is so?
Yep.
Which one is less or more vulnerable? Which one? It feels oxymoronic. The legislation feels oxymoronic in its position.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just tired. Every MP that ran last election got in, didn't get in. Oh, they would, yes, I would support a sex offenders registry. Where is it? I got one serious. Some of them afraid to implement it because they themselves would be on it or people very close to them.
Well, then that would actually be overarching for qualifications of being able to stand for political office based on the allegation.
Well, Sabrina, let's
Just
not
saying.
pretend now
Not
pretend now like we got stalwart men and women up in there.
But do you understand what I just said? If that is indeed the case based on what is alleged,
I'm going to tell you what my grandmother said. Some of them that's sitting up in there,
qualifications would then, because it would be overarching legislations that would come into place. Remember, currently under the elections law, and please don't quote me, but unless it is something, it's very minor what it is. You could murder right now and you can still stand for office based on how the wording of the law is.
If you don't go to prison for it.
Yeah.
If you don't go to prison for more than a year.
Yeah. But it's very limited.
But by God, if you steal a peppermint when you were 17 years old,
it can block you.
You can't go. You see how I tell you this legislation is oxymoronic?
Yeah.
And that's why current and or successive government, our previous governments have never sought to have that amended because many would fall very, very, very.
I wouldn't agree with that broad brushed statement, though. Haven't been somebody there, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I can only speak for myself. No, but I'm just saying in a broad brush. I was just
going to say, don't put your head out there. Don't put your head on the chopping block for nobody.
But, yeah.
I can tell you what my dear grandma would say.
No, not at all.
I wouldn't trust him behind a clean lampshade.
Oh, my gosh.
No, Sabrina. But like I said, back to exactly what we were talking about. When will we get
the registry?
Offenders registry.
So keep the question coming and keep hammering on it, and
I'm hoping to meet with an MP next week to have a frank discussion about it.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to you about a particular situation.
Mm-hmm.
We see, and I can't let this
Yes.
one go. I cannot let this one go. We
Yeah.
see where the ombudsman is doing her
Own
own
investigation. Mm-hmm.
investigation
Not triggered
about
by anybody else, but they're
no,
they're
no, no.
seeing things. Yes.
But basically that either evidence was lost or something connecting to the case that basically didn't allow it to even move on the prosecution
Mm-hmm.
because of something to do with the police or one of its entities. I don't want to get Miss Sharon wrong.
No, yeah, but we'll just wait for that to materialize. But what we're saying, the mere fact that the Office of the Ombudsman has actually started something on
Yeah,
their
yeah.
own, not being
But what
triggered by
I'm
anybody
saying is,
else, it speaks
but what I'm
volumes.
saying is, we also know that there are a lot of sexual offenses that never get reported.
Exactly.
And if this is the standard in which they are being handled, what is the incentive
Mm-hmm.
or what makes a victim want to come forward? My God, I got a crackhead breaking.
The environment has to be
I
conducive.
have a crackhead breaking into my car
Now?
at least every month.
Oh,
At least every month.
I
And
thought
I
that was
have
happening
resorted.
now. Okay.
No, not yet. He wait till the sun go down.
Oh, dear Jesus.
But I have resorted to, because he destroyed my locks, I've just resorted to leaving the car open and leaving a couple of dollars change for him. Right? That shouldn't be our response to crime in general. But when that is it, and again, I want to rein this back into sexual assaults. When the position is, you will report it, nothing not gonna be done. They're not gonna be found guilty. They're not gonna go nowhere because you're not gonna be able to get nothing done. The police can lose the evidence, or you're not gonna, there's not gonna be enough to get the person charged. And then if you even are successful in getting them charged, they get up there and they give them kisses and favors and send them to Northwood for 3-4 years and 60% of your sentence, and then you come out and Bob's your uncle. And you live the best life that you ever lived on the taxpayer's dollar, while that person is left to have to put the rest of their life together. And yeah, you get a little slap on your wrist and they tell you got to stay 500 feet away from your victim and all those good things, and you shouldn't have contact with them because Cayman is so big, she can hide in the eastmost corner and you in the westmost corner and she'll never interact with you. Really? We got to do better, Sabrina. We have to do
I agree with
better.
you, but you're going to have to lead me there as we wind down, because we are at 6:57. Yes, my dear. Thank you for your contributions. We will continue. We will not let this go. It is Open Mic Summer Edition continues. Okay. Thank you. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, while that caller was on, I'm seeing where there has been a post on the CMR Cayman Mall Road page of an incident that is being reported by Cayman Mall Road, of an incident that happened or is being reported at the Governor's Beach. And I'm quoting, there is a video that is there. So if you're on there, you would see there is a video showing this afternoon following an incident of approximately 4:30 in which a woman was injured. Witnesses reported hearing someone shout "shark" around the time of the incident. 2 ambulance crews attended the scene, and the injured woman was removed by stretcher via a blue mat pathway. Now, the Cayman Islands Coast Guard was also on the scene, and the beach was temporarily closed following the incident. At this stage, right now, the newsroom here at CMR, we have no official confirmation regarding the circumstances surrounding the woman's injuries. So we are also hoping that she's okay and wishing her a speedy recovery. Now, as this story continues to unfold, we encourage you to keep it locked. And if you have not liked and followed Cayman Mall Road or even on their WhatsApp, we suggest you do so you're updated with all of the latest happenings. We will definitely continue to follow this story and, of course, bringing you all the latest. It has been my pleasure bringing you another episode of Sabrina Speaks here for this evening. We will continue to just wrap up to help you identify some of the warning signs, not only in children but also in adults. And we want to also take a look at tomorrow's edition. We are going to take a look at the Kimmebrack Lighthouse National Park. Do you think protecting this is something that needs to be done? Well, we would like to get your feedback on that. We will break down and show you some slides here and what it would do to look at the existing protection of Long Beach, Bluff Face, and Peter's Outlook, the Little Cayman Brac, and all of that sort of stuff. We'll go into that because your input is being asked for this, and we'll break this down for you tomorrow. But please remember, this is Open Mic Summer Edition continues. So even though we're going to be highlighting that and wrapping up and being able to identify some of the risks and being able to identify sexual assault in adults and children, we will go in and we will break that down because your feedback is important. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for all of the comments, the calls, and for the shout outs. I see them still coming in. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing the love. We appreciate, and for all of those persons celebrating birthdays today, wedding anniversaries, and celebrating milestones, happy birthday. Good night. God bless. See you tomorrow. Love you all lots.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, K-Man, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.